Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Two for Talking podcast. I'm your host, Corey Tusick. I've got comedian Joe Bartnick alongside with Josh Yowie at The Athletic. And we have Josh's Penn State of the Penguins address to get to. But boys, we've got
I think we lost Corey. Hi, Joe.
Hey, what's up, Josh? How's your father?
Well, he's all right. We'll handle the introduction. I think we're live, Joe. I don't know. I believe we're live. We're live.
Sure, live on
First of all,
Twitter.
Joe, the viewers want to know where in the world is Joe Bartnick right now? Pittsburgh.
I actually just landed in Pittsburgh about 2 hours ago. So
Very good.
after a very successful tour of Boston, California with Patrick Warburton at the beach, and I've done like so many shows. Such great fans of Two for Talking, Josh. Everyone's like, "How's Josh?" I'm like, "Josh is great." I will be in New Jersey. I'm sorry, I will be in Connecticut the 14th at Stress Factory. The 28th, I will be in New Jersey with Andy Picaro, and I will be in Phoenix area next weekend, like the 5th and 6th. But yeah, Josh, everyone's like, "Hey, what's Josh up to?" And I'm like, he's doing well. He's relaxing, getting ready for the 80 game season.
Yeah. I'm in Canada with my children for a couple of days, and I just wanted to say it's cold as hell here right now. It's becoming hockey weather. We were just outside, like, oh my god, it's cold. Yeah, so it happens. But hey, there goes Corey again. I thought we had Corey for a second.
Really? Because I was just in Boston yesterday, and I was at the beach. It was like a nice 82, 83.
It was okay this afternoon, but I'm telling you, it turned cold on the lake this evening. Like, oh man, it always gets a little colder. You can tell like football and hockey are in the air a little bit, Joe.
How are the boys?
They're good. They're good. One's in the distance listening as we speak. Maybe he'll host his own podcast someday. Who knows?
Well, there you go. It'll be 2.5 for talking. 2.5 men. What is the deal right now? Is it the Hoffman Group and the pole position? Are they going to be our new masters?
I mean, they're clearly talking. There's no question. I've talked with a lot of people in the organization and people close to the situation. A lot of people think this is going to happen. It's not a done deal yet, I don't think. Deals of this magnitude, when we're talking billions, not millions, but billions of dollars, that kind of stuff usually doesn't happen overnight, right? And there can be a lot of snags along the way, as we all know. But what is becoming really clear is that the Hoffman family, based in Chicago, of course, they have businesses all over the place, including a hockey team in Florida. These are really serious people who very much want to be involved in the National Hockey League. So that is becoming clear. And I also think what is becoming clear is that Fenway is willing to sell. And, Fenway, they're business people. You can buy something for $900 million and you can sell it a few years later for 1.7 or 1.8 billion. Well, that's good business. That's a hell of an investment. That's what these people are all about. They're very corporate. They're all about the bottom line. And I also think along the way, Joe, I don't know that Fenway's done anything wrong here necessarily, but I also know that they've never connected with the city of Pittsburgh at all. And they've never really felt like the right fit for the Penguins, even though they have very deep pockets. So you put it all together, that's kind of where we stand. That doesn't mean the Hoffman family is going to take control, but it means that I wouldn't be surprised if they do at some point in this calendar year. It certainly has that feel.
Well, Josh, let's look exactly at what they have done, the Fenway Sports Group. They came in, they built a cable system so that everyone can watch the Penguins games, easily, with actually more Penguin content than was there before. Unfortunately, they also broadcast Pirate games if you want to be tortured in the summer, right? And then they said, we want to keep Mike Sullivan. It was always in Mike Sullivan we trust. Mm-hmm. No problem there. We want to keep the big three. No problem there. I mean, for most of us fans, we want them to play a little better, but no one wanted to send Gino or Letang out of town. Of course, no one wanted to send Sid out of town. Then you have, they hired Dubas. We've talked about this for a year and a half. He had one bad summer. Other than that, maybe okay. Mm-hmm. They bring back Yarmir Yager, something that everyone on this panel and everyone in the 412, the 927, whatever the hell it is out Washington County, Josh, or Turf, whatever the area code is, everyone's happy about that. But the one thing they did, the only thing they did that absolutely stunk, but it absolutely stinks, is they killed Jesus. They killed God. They banished Lemieux, or Lemieux banished him, whatever you want to say. They broke the Ark of the Covenant, and that is between the Pittsburgh Penguins and Lemieux and the city of Pittsburgh. And that is the original sin. That is Adam biting the apple.
There's no recovery.
They did one other thing that's very important. Now, it might have seemed like the ultimate slam dunk, but they did fire Ron Hextall too.
Well, yes.
And they didn't hire him. And that was Mario. I mean, that was Mario and Ron Burkham. It was. They weren't perfect.
I forgot they built the Ark, or would all be flooded out. Biblical themes going.
The Mario thing, I haven't really written about it at length because stuff like that is really dicey to write about. But I think most of the viewers are aware that Fenway and Mario have some kind of a rift. And I've heard it from a lot of different angles. It certainly involved money and how fast Mario got the money when the sale went down. And I don't think he got the money he was supposed to get for quite some time. And that led to some lawyers getting involved before, ultimately things were taken care of. But there's some bad blood there. Mario's been in the building, I think 3 or 4 times for games during Fenway's ownership. And I know for a fact that he's asked the Penguins to keep him off camera on a couple of occasions when he was there. And of course he did show up for Yager's big night and took the ice. And, obviously he wasn't going to miss that. But it brings me back to the Hoffman family. And if indeed they do take over, I have some unsolicited advice for them. Get number 66's phone number, give him a call. Make him your friend because he is the best ally they will ever have. Not just because he's Mario Lemieux, but because he is the man who ran the team for 22 years. And they could certainly learn some things from him. And, also, let's be honest, having him on their side from a PR standpoint is only going to help them. And I think we all agree. We just like when he's in the building. We're no different than the fans or anyone else. Everyone just likes when he's around. You like when Yags is around. They're just different in that way. And it'll, I think, be a lot more likely that he will be around if there is new ownership.
I hope the Hoffman family or group, whatever they're called, I hope they want to have boots on the ground, because I think that's what killed everything that FSG was trying to do, was especially when they lost our buddy Kevin Acklin, who, Pittsburgher true and true, the guy who literally brought Yager back because he knew how much it meant. And I don't know who that would be. I don't know if David Morehouse is tied to the Lemieux group and he can't come back or what. But they need to get somebody that knows Pittsburgh, and at least Chicago is a lot closer to Pittsburgh. Even though I've been around Boston a lot last week, and it kind of reminds you of Pittsburgh a little bit. Chicago really reminds you of a really big Pittsburgh. So I think they have a better feel for what they're getting into, but they just need Pittsburgh people working for them.
No, I agree. I think it's been a big problem. Kevin Acklin and Jen Bolano Ridgely are 2 very important people in the organization, the only 2 with Pittsburgh ties, quite honestly. And you kind of knew they were going to sell, or it certainly looked that way when, Kevin has been gone from his post for a few months now, and they've never replaced him. There's never been any talk of them replacing him. In retrospect, like, they kind of were thinking about selling for a while here because they're not replacing people. It kind of makes sense, but I completely agree. For better or worse, and I don't have a problem with it really, but Pittsburghers like when other Pittsburghers are in charge. They like being surrounded. We like being surrounded by our own, right? And when I hear Penguins fans talk about FSG, there are certain complaints, but first and foremost, it's those Boston people. We don't like those people from Boston. Why are those Boston people in charge of the Penguins?
It did feel a little slimy.
Yeah, I mean, and, Chicago, you're right, Joe. Chicago, I think in terms of personalities, Chicago people remind me of Pittsburgh people so much. Like Pittsburgh might not geographically quite be the Midwest, but culturally it is. And we just Pittsburgh and Chicago. Every time I'm in Chicago, I'm like, yeah, I'm comfortable here. I like these people. These are my own kind of people. So I wonder if it might be a more natural fit. But yeah, you're absolutely right. They need some Pittsburgh flavor in this group if they want Penguins fans to trust them.
Pittsburgh is a or Chicago is a very, very big Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Is the way I see it.
It is.
And I also like the fact that the Hoffman group, I've been to the Everglades arena. They have good swag, and their trainers down there are really sweet people. But I like the fact that the Penguins, if they buy them, will be like their Cadillac, not their like Honda Accord that has 300,000 miles on it. Because, I hate to think that the house of Lemieux and Yogs and Sid and Gino was third to a soccer team.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I wanted it to be their prized possession, not a tax write-off.
Not just an asset that they're holding on their balance sheet.
No, I agree. And it's the Penguins were never going to be the Red Sox. They were never going to be Liverpool. I'm not a soccer guy either, but I know how much money Liverpool makes them. And those were their two crown jewels. And the more you talk with people about FSG, the more you realize that they really want to be in the NBA at some point as well. There's probably going to be an NBA team in Vegas in the next 5 years. And I think they're going to want in on that. I've heard that from a lot of people that I really trust. That rumor's been out there for a while. The Penguins they were a nice asset for them. They were a nice secondary team for them to have. But you're right, Joe. And the fact is the Penguins, and I don't say this out of any bias, they are one of the NHL's most important franchises. They really are. You can view the original six as the glamorous franchises. Okay. Name one more original six franchise that's more important to the league than the Penguins. I don't think you'll find one. I really don't. They are a worldwide brand. That's a really important team, and you're right. They should be the crown jewel for whoever owns them.
Yeah, we're tied with Edmonton for most cups since the merger.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and as far as stars go, it's basically, it's Gretzky, Messier, Coffey, and McJesus and Leon versus, Sid, Gino, Lemieux, Yager, and 30 other guys, including Paul Coffey.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the run, like, I don't know if people say this, a bunch of people say this, but championships that happen before you're born, like they almost kind of don't matter. Like with the Steelers, like the 70 Steelers, I like the history, all that kind of stuff, but like I didn't experience it. And I was telling my nephew, I was like, you don't understand how ridiculous it is. The Penguins didn't win Stanley Cups. And now in my lifetime, they've won the Stanley Cup more than anybody. Like they're, like I was born in 1986. Like that's an unheard of run of success. So like we're taking our medicine here. And I don't know. Here's my worry. It's going to be another, like this Hoffman group. And Josh, you were on the DV morning show and you expanded on this a little bit. Like they have a huge portfolio. They have like a million companies. What was it, like 200 some companies?
Uh-huh.
Like,
yeah, very few of which I've ever heard of, but they do have a lot of interest for sure. It's not like it's just one or two teams that are making them their money, or one or two groups rather. But I think it might be different because other than a minor league hockey team, it's not like they have other NBA teams or other NFL teams or anything like what Fenway has. And I can't imagine they will be as corporate as Fenway, because it would be impossible to be as corporate as Fenway. Like the Penguins arena feels sterile the last couple of years with Fenway in charge. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a psychological feeling. Like it just feels corporate in every way. And you ask people who work for the team, like there was a family atmosphere when Mario ran the show. And I think you could sense that almost, even for outsiders, and it's not there anymore. So yeah, these people do have a ton of businesses, and they will have to be asked, hey, why should you be the owner of the Penguins, and what are you going to do differently than the last group? A lot of questions need to be asked. But I think the Penguins would be their crown jewel in terms of visibility and in terms of sports, and I think that's a big deal. And that's one thing they were never ever going to have with Fenway.
I mean, even if whatever Mr. Hoffman or Grandpa Hoffman or Uncle Hoffman comes in for one game, that'll be one more than anyone from FSG ever did.
No, I mean, you're right. I mean, how many games has John Henry been to? A couple, I guess.
You know how hard it was to get for the thumbnail for this, to get a person with from FSG standing next to a Penguins player. Like, I was Googling it, and it's like, usually you Google any player, it's like there's not much evidence that they were ever there.
And apparently, Teddy Warner, who's Warner's son, like they basically put him in charge of the Penguins, and nice guy. You know, he was around some of the time. He doesn't even live in Pittsburgh. He was just, I think he lives in Milwaukee. Right? He was just commuting. He'd come into for games sometimes, and nobody has anything bad to say about these people. Like most of the Penguins employees I know, they get kind of defensive of Fenway. They always say things like, "Oh, they're nice guys. You don't ever see them. You don't know what all they're doing." Like, well, that is the problem. We don't ever see them, and that's great that they spend money and that they treat people okay, but there was just never any connection with the city. And I don't need an owner to be Jerry Jones doing interviews 3 times a day. But you should be visible. People should know something about you. They should know that you care. And I maybe it's too harsh to call them absentee owners, but boy, they are hands off to the extreme.
Well, the few dealings I had with people from the FSG organization, they were very nice to me, very professional and very nice people.
Mhm.
So I can only go on that. But I will say that, they weren't nice to like my uncle. And that'll just never sit well with me. If you don't treat Mario well, like I don't like it. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
No, you're not the only one who feels that way. I mean, there are enough whispers out there, but whatever went, and it's still kind of shrouded in mystery what happened during that year after the sale. But Mario hadn't been around. We all know that. And for him to just disappear like that, so something happened that should not have happened. That's for sure. I certainly don't sense any bad intentions from the Fenway people. I don't think their plan was, hey, let's buy the Penguins and piss off Mario Lemieux and treat him like shit. It wasn't like that. I think it was more misunderstandings. But again, they're just never around. That they don't really come across as, having any warmth or personality. The Penguins are an investment for them. That was made to me so clear from the beginning. And more than anything, like, the Penguins need a boss.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who's the boss? And this is nothing against Dan Muse or Kyle Dubas, but like, even those guys, Kyle needs a boss. We've all been helped at times in our lives because we had a boss and we had some structure. Kyle was basically running the organization by himself the last couple of years. He probably would like somebody, granted he wants an owner who's on his side, of course, but he'd probably like somebody he can work with a little bit. He just has to do everything, I think. And that's not always a healthy thing in any working environment. You still have to have some kind of, chain of command, right?
I hope it's not bare bones back to the days when Staggy was working 15 jobs. I hope Dubas isn't answering the phone and selling tickets. Making sure the popcorn's popped. I hope he has a couple people helping him. But let's just to think ahead. Is this okay? Now it's out there. Is now other people, or does Hoffman have an exclusive window?
Is Mario out of the picture?
What is there? The only ones. Other than which, obviously, Ron Burkle hasn't made too many bad business decisions in his life. It doesn't seem like he's going to say, "Oh, well, yeah, I'll lose $1 billion just to get him back because I enjoyed coming to games with Mario."
Right. That would be great if he did, but
yeah.
You can't expect it.
Raise the price of milk, Ron. I don't care.
Well, there is usually a window of exclusivity in terms of negotiating and making final decisions. And usually those windows are either like 30 or 45 days in these situations. And it hasn't been confirmed by anybody if that's what's happening. I suspect it is. I suspect they've made some inroads, agreed on some things. And now there's probably a 30 to 45 day window where they can really nail everything down. And that often is the time when these deals go dead. Now,
Mhm.
not saying that's going to happen, but there have been times Mario was close to selling many times over the years. Remember Jim Ball Silly, the BlackBerry guy? There were 3 or 4 times when, okay, we'll talk, and there was some progress, and they were thinking about it, and then there'd be a snag, and it would just be done. It wouldn't happen. That happens a lot. Now, when the Penguins, when Mario and Burkle sold to Fenway, at that time they were looking for like, I think 650 million, something like that, or 700, and Fenway just came in, oh, we'll give you 900, and they're like, oh, okay, sure. That took care of a lot of problems. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't get the sense that Fenway is urgent to get away from the Penguins, but I think if they can make that big of a profit, that's one thing. And I also think, yeah, I've heard from a lot of people that Fenway and the NHL just don't see eye to eye. I don't think Gary Bettman has a lot of closeness with the Fenway people for whatever reasons. I don't know what they are, but I keep hearing like it's like Fenway's the new kid in school who doesn't fit in, and they just don't fit it. They like the way that MLB does things. That's what they're familiar with and comfortable with. They kind of think the NHL's out to lunch in some ways, and the NHL kind of thinks the same about them. It's just not a comfortable fit at this point. So I all signs are pointing toward this happening sooner
Well,
rather than later.
once again, Mario was a Bettman guy,
Mhm.
uh, and I was going to ask you, when's the next time that the Royal Highness Mr. Bettman is speaking? When's his next State of the Union? Because that would have to be a question that he could answer.
It would. I mean, this is Gary's dark period. We don't really hear from Gary much in the summer.
Right, but I didn't know when is the next. You know how he has his scheduled States of the Union. Is there one scheduled coming up that just he's going to make a? Is there like is he at the Chicago Car Wash or the Vegas Car Wash, wherever
I
it is?
don't think he usually goes to the national media tours. So it might be a month or two before we hear anything from him, and that certainly would be a question that he will be asked no matter where he appears. I'm sure. A lot of people are certainly aware of what's going on right now. So, but these kinds of things tend to stay quiet until the deal is done. Gary's not going to want to put himself. Gary's a lawyer. He's smart. He's not going to want to put himself, in the middle of the situation when a deal's not done yet.
Yeah.
So we shall see. But I've heard from a lot of people that Gary and Fenway not a great relationship there. It's
Doesn't look like Fenway's good at having good relationships with many people. Like Mario, a good relationship with the city of
I
Pittsburgh.
don't think they care.
No. Yeah.
What though? But like getting back to Batman though, like he would know if the process is going on, and he would confirm or that. I mean, he would lawyer speak it, but he would acknowledge it.
He will. Oh, sure, he would.
So, but no one has officially, or has someone? I mean, I was involved. Has someone officially acknowledged? No one's even in your writings. No one's officially acknowledged it, though, right?
Not really. Fenway, they gave a statement that basically said nothing. Like they didn't come out and say, "Hey, the goddamn team's not for sale." They didn't do that.
Right.
You could kind of read between the lines. Like, yeah, okay. This certainly could happen. And bringing it back to Mario and Ron and David Morehouse, it's interesting. They really, I think 6 months ago, kind of had a premonition that this team was going to be for sale at some point, and they were right. Like I think they sensed it. They knew Fenway wasn't really making any money. They knew Fenway and the NHL didn't see eye to eye on a lot of stuff. So I think they were right in sensing that this was about to happen. I just don't think they could have imagined that the asking price would be what it is. And if it's going to be matched, I mean, if you're Mario and Ron, why would you, sell for 900 million and then, literally spend twice as much to reacquire them? Financially speaking, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Does that mean they're completely out? Have you heard anything from that camp or any whispers?
I haven't heard that they're completely out, but I also can't imagine them matching that price. I don't know. I know Burkle's worth $3 billion or whatever it is, but a lot of his money is tied up in investments, and I don't know how much liquid money he actually has, just to throw down, for an agreement like this. And I don't know that he wants to be involved at this stage. I don't know what would be in it for him. They've won their cups. He's had his fun. It's not like Ron was ever around that often. Like Ron Burkle came to maybe 10 Penguins games a year. Like a few of them.
10 more than Peter Gammons from Fenway Sports Group.
That's true. But but Ron would show up at games in LA and New York, and he'd come to Pittsburgh in the playoffs. That was about it. It's not like he was the money guy. Mario was the face, of course. He was the guy around the team all the time. So I think I know for a fact it was valid. You know, the Morehouse and Mario and Burkle talked about it and considered it and made some calls and maybe daydreamed about it a little bit and were serious about it even. I think that's all true. But I just don't know that they can match that kind of money or that it would make sense for them. So I don't know that they're completely out. But I think it's far more likely from everything I've heard that the Hoffman family's got a lot more power here and a lot more likely to be the next owner of the Penguins.
Well, nobody wants Mario and Mr. Burkle and Mr. Morehouse to own the team more than me. But it doesn't even make sense. Even if Ron himself is worth $3 billion, to put $2 billion up into the Penguins, you know, it doesn't make as much sense as like a group that has whatever. I don't know how many people. I'm not a finance guy. You know what I mean? It's not one guy losing 2/3 of his money.
Yeah.
To a puck over the glass in a game 7. You know?
Yeah, that's right.
I think I care. God, I can only imagine if I had $2 billion in the Penguins. I can imagine that.
I think things change if 10 months from now, let's say the Penguins, hypothetically win the Gavin McKenna sweepstakes, and you might have another, as we like to call them, generational superstar. Then it's different. All of a sudden, because geez, we might have another 15-year run here like we just had with Sid. Like that makes the Penguins to me so much more valuable in so many different ways if that were to happen. But as it is right now, it doesn't make sense to sell a team and 4 years later they stink and they're in the middle of a rebuild and they're not selling tickets the way they once did. Hey, let's go pay $1.8 billion when we just sold for $900 million. The Penguins are not that valuable compared to what they were 5 or 10 years ago. Doesn't mean they can't be again, but they're kind of in the rut right now where I just, and God, I'm hardly some financial expert, as my credit score will attest. But I mean, you just look at it from an outsider, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for them. I'm not sure why they're valued that high. I get all the teams are valued higher than they were, and the expansion teams that are coming in are going to jack that number up. That's part of it. But it just doesn't make a whole lot of financial sense.
What's the fee going to be where do they think the ballpark fee for a new franchise is going to be?
$500 million, I think, or $1 billion.
So he makes $1 billion for the two.
Yeah, I mean,
but then you divide that 32 times. I'm terrible at math, especially at 11 o'clock at night. I can't do it at noon. But it only makes sense. It makes sense if, and this is where I'm over my skis, and I talked about this like a month ago. Right. If they then maybe the Hoffman have the juice or the people to then build the, whatever the Omni Grand Omni next door where the igloo was. And maybe that's what makes it $2 billion. And Mario to deal with that.
Yeah. I mean, that's what that group that took over from SMG, AEG, the ones that own the building in LA. That was their whole thing. I mean, actually, I knew that my wife worked for the company at the time. And that was their purpose, was to develop it. It never happened. It's insanely valuable if somebody does it. I wonder, does Mario's group sit there and kind of hope that the Hoffman deal falls apart? And, that's taking a chance because you never know. It might actually work. But like you said, Josh, these deals often do fall through. And then all of a sudden, at that point, when the deal falls through, maybe this is wishful thinking, FSG has now wetted their whistle on selling the team and you know what, that's not a bad idea. And then Mario and Burkle can come in and say all right, here's $1.3 billion.
Well, they've also showed their hand that they probably want to sell the team at this point. And so, yeah, that's a conceivable thing. But God, there's a lot of billionaires out there that want to own sports teams. It's just the way it is. There's so much money in professional sports. It's hard for most of us to even fathom. Um, but it was a great fairy tale, a great daydream for Penguins fans the last couple of months. Like, could this happen? Like Mario shows up one more time. And I think the fact that he even wanted to, or that he considered it, kind of makes people feel good.
Yeah,
But
the right owners come in, that he'll come back.
yes, and I'm sure he would, and they would be wise to, hey, let's throw 66 a few million a year, whatever. See if he wants to have some kind of a role.
Hmm.
Why not? There, as I often say, there has never been a professional athlete more synonymous with a team, maybe in sports history, than Mario Lemieux was with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Nobody saved a team on the ice and off the ice, literally like he did. And any new owner is going to see his statue outside of the building when you show up. Like that's all you need to know about how important he is in this city. Kind of a no-brainer, but I have to think if Mr. Hoffman's taken over, that's his first phone call. How could it not be?
Yeah, I mean, and besides on the ice, just off the ice, all of his charity work is just ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he's an icon. But it seems to me that just even inadvertently, I think the Hoffmans have knocked Mario out of the running only because how much then? I mean, just by bidding that much. I mean, I kind of thought that it would almost be the same amount of money that they bought the team, that they sold the team for, they could buy it back for. Because it's only, in my mind, depreciated if you take away the expansion 2 teams, right? Yes. I mean, Sid and Gino only got older.
Fenway has hemorrhaged money the last couple of years because they were still spending to the salary cap every year.
Right.
They didn't this month, but they do. Like they spent to the cap, and that sellout streak is a thing of the past.
Right.
It ended in 22, I think it was 21 or 22. It's been, they still draw well, but the fact is they were, 10% empty seats this year. That's a lot for a team that, or for a league that, nearly 50% of your revenue comes from ticket sales.
Mm-hmm.
If you're down 10% in ticket sales, that's a real problem. And that's where the Penguins are right now.
Which makes the 1.8 to be either that they are getting all the land and they're going to build something, and it's one of their 200 businesses is going to be a general contractor building something over there, or B, they just want to be involved so much they're just paying 3 times market value for
it. I think it might be that more than any, which is fine if they've got the money to do it. Great. And I've heard from some people like they might want nothing to do with that land around the building. They might just say that we're going to lose money. Just keep us the hell out of that. That's what I would do, because I think that's a lost cause. This has been 15 years. It's a disaster. I love being at Penguins home games as much as anyone, but I don't particularly like when you walk outside at night and look to the left and the right and look for an open bar. You're not going to find one. Like it's not a good scene.
The dumbest thing ever.
Well, that's one thing. I hope one of their businesses is a sports bar, and I hope another one is like repaving to fix some of the potholes around it.
They need it. No, I mean, having a good relationship with the city would be important, because the Penguins have certainly had their issues with the city over the years. That's just, I think everybody knows they wanted to have, a nice area around the arena when it opened in 2010, the way Columbus does, the way most NHL teams do. And not the case, is it?
It never is apparently going to happen. It's a shame because boy, I fell hook, line, and sinker for all of those for all of those dreams, those drawings in the Post Gazette that I was reading.
Corey, it's you're dreaming. It's stupid that they didn't do it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like people are just not making money.
Yeah.
No, it's and now no businesses want involved in that area. That downtown since COVID has gone downhill a little bit. There's more crime, especially the area around the arena is not great. A lot of businesses, they don't want involved, because if you've been down there, like say the Penguins are at home on a Tuesday and Thursday one week, those nights are great. Go down there on a Wednesday at 7:00. See if you find any human beings. You won't. It's downtown is dead, especially in that part of downtown. So now it's even harder to try to draw businesses in, and the city's a pain in the ass to deal with when it comes to this kind of thing. It's a problem.
But think about it, the only business that's made money in those 10 square blocks is the guy that plays the saxophone.
Yeah, Reggie the saxophone man does well. But
yeah, I mean, other than that, no. I mean, isn't that insane when you think about it?
oh yeah, no, it can't be that hard. Like there's thousands of people. Like it would seem like I don't have a degree in business, but for Christ's sake, you would think it could be done. But a lot of stubbornness from the city of Pittsburgh, and that's one of the reasons they brought Kevin Acklin in, because Kevin, worked for the mayor and had a great relationship with the Penguins. And if even Kevin can't get it done, when he has friends on both sides of the aisle and everybody likes him and everyone likes working with him, it was like that much of a lost cause. I don't know who else is going to pull it off.
It may be too late now because of ice, but they could at least get some Mexican guys from Dodgerland to come out and sell some bacon wrapped hot dogs. Like, I mean, you would think there'd at least be some guy selling some chubby Latina lady selling hot dogs and Sprites.
Well, yeah, I don't think ICE is going to let that happen now. And I mean, I don't know that downtown when there's not a professional sporting event in downtown Pittsburgh. I mean, it's a problem. It really is. So, if you're a new owner, it's amazing the price is apparently as high as it is, because again, that situation, that wouldn't make me want to spend my money if I was a billionaire. Like I would be very leery of the business issues surrounding that arena of the Penguins. But we keep hearing 1.7 or 1.8 billion in that range. It's unbelievable. But I think part of that's just the value of professional sports teams.
Right. I wonder if they could partner.
Right before we get to the great Bill Neofus, who should put together a group with all his billions. Is there any chance that this is just that the Hoffmans know a Fenway guy, and this is a little like a joke over a filet mignon somewhere, and it's just to make Mario and Burkle spend an extra $500 million?
I doubt it. Now that would be something. If the Fenway really wants to be villains in this town, that would be a good way of going about it. That would be something. My mind hadn't even gone there, Joe. But I haven't heard that. So I'm going to assume no, but it's not like that kind of thing doesn't happen in business from time to time. If Elliot Friedman's in on this, then I'm going to have a word with Elliot next time I see him, because I don't know. That's just
the only two guys in journalism I trust are you and Elliot.
Well, if Elliot's getting a slice, then we'll find out. If he shows up to the Sportsnet studio driving a Maserati or something,
I think he does anyway. So it's fine.
He might, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I really just some way, please make it happen. Get Mario involved. Hoffman Group, have Mario just be 80%, like 80% of what he used to be, so he doesn't have to spend more than he made.
That's right.
But yeah, we'll see. So anyways, Mr. Bill Neofus, he might be able to buy the Penguins. Who knows? We hope so, because Bill would certainly pull all the right triggers. He would push all the right buttons for every Yinzer. But he'll push the right buttons for you when it comes to insurance. And I can tell you need that whenever someone like me who just bought a car, you need that insurance person to be on top of it. Josh, is he not the best in the city?
He is. And first of all, I have 3 words to say in regards to Bill Neofus. This is very important. Happy birthday, Bill. That's right.
Happy birthday.
August 25th, the birthday boy. It is indeed Bill's birthday. So I spoke with him this morning. Happy birthday indeed, Bill. He's the king of Pittsburgh insurance. Neofusinsurance.com, located in the North Hills. As we tell you on this show every week. And by the way, I like it when this happens. Bill's been telling me, we got people, calling in, making appointments that hear you guys talk about me on the show. This is great. I'm like, good, it's working. That's what we like to hear. Quality human being, quality business, any kind of insurance you need. They will get you a good deal, and they will treat you like a human being, which I can't always say that insurance companies do. Mm-hmm. And you can even talk some hockey with Bill. He's always going to make time for that. So Neofus Insurance Group, here's the phone number. I always fail to memorize it. 412-364-3388. I'll say it one more time because it's Bill's birthday. 412-364-3388. Give the man a call. His whole staff, they're unbelievable. And I've been told that Bill will be in attendance, not only for the home opener, but the second game of the year for the big Mike Sullivan return, the second home game of the year. He didn't always see eye to eye with
Yeah.
Sully at the end. So I don't know. I don't know how the reaction from the Neofus family is going to be on the first Saturday night home game of the year against the Rangers, but he will be in the house, so it should be interesting.
Oh boy, don't let Bill get down near the bench. He might have a what's his name situation up in Boston. Take his shoe off. But well, thank you, Bill, and happy birthday, Bill. And yeah, go to neofisinsurance.com. Josh, your State of the Penguins article came out, and it's one of your. I mean, you have so many good staples. That's what we love about Josh. The great articles. We've got the State of the Penguins. We've got the travel one. We've got, I mean, just so many different ones. State of the Penguins, I was hoping to feel really warm and fuzzy. And it was kind of warm, lukewarm. It's getting better. It's better than last year's was, that's for sure. But I wanted to go point by point through that. The Penguins, you said, can they stop anyone scoring against them? That goes from just goaltending to defense, doesn't it?
Yeah. Joe, this team, let's just say for a second, let's say Rust, Raquel, Carlson, let's say they're all on the team to start the season. We don't know. Let's say they are. I think this team's going to score goals. I really do. I like the forwards. Those top three lines can be pretty darn good. And for all of Carlson and Letang's flaws, and there are many, they can get forwards the puck. I mean, the power play seemed to be fixed last year to some extent. They can score. I just don't see how they're going to stop anybody from scoring. You can't trust any of the goaltenders, no matter who they go with. You have a lot of guys who have had some peaks in their career, but a lot of valleys as well, and you have a lot of youth. It might be the worst defensive blue line in the NHL. I think it probably is, even though I like a couple of the guys they've brought in. Like, they're more third pairing types. Like, who's going to eat the minutes and shut people down? I don't see it on this team. So I just think goals against are a major, major, major problem on paper for this team.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if we only trade Erik Karlsson, that means Raquel and the Rusty Razor are still on the team. I think we're almost a playoff team.
Almost.
I think we're just come up a little short. I think if Karlsson goes, I trust Dan Muse enough to get 5 capable defensemen and Christopher Letang. And then I think Jar be okay. I think Shelovs is definitely an upgrade.
He's intriguing.
Yeah. And I just think the Metro is going to be a tougher division this year. So I think last year's team, I think we're going to be a better team this year. I don't know. I think the division is going to be harder though.
It could be that the Penguins will be better this season, but will finish lower in the standings. Like, I could see something like that taking place. When you just look at the Metro, Carolina and Jersey and Washington are so good on paper. I think the Rangers could be better for sure. That's tough. The Penguins just aren't better than those teams. But it's where they've been the last couple of years. They're not so bad that you're going to completely write them off. They could score a lot of goals. What if Jari plays out of his mind the first month or two of the season? We've seen him do that. It's in play. It's conceivable. What if a new coach is a good thing for the Penguins and kind of gives them some juice early in the year? That happens sometimes too. I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think they will. I'm saying they could be better than people think. And I don't know if that's what management really wants. I mean, we know who's waiting in the draft lottery next year. We know that this is probably the best draft in a decade. We know this is a team that could use a top 5 prospect, a legit one. These are all things you have to consider. That's why I'm so interested in what Kyle Dubas does, even between now and the start of the season. Does anybody go? Does he kind of tip his hand a little bit more than he has? Because I still think this team, while not a playoff team, is not terrible. They're not good, but I see a lot of 5-4 overtime losses in this team's future. I think they'll be fun to watch. But you don't want to be in the middle forever, and that's kind of where they've been the last couple of years. And I still think on paper that's where they are, and I don't know that that's a good thing.
I would really lose respect for Dubas if he really thinks that getting a 125th 1/4 chance to get, the next Sid is worth sucking.
And I don't know that he does look at it that way. But I know
let's say we're 3 points out of a playoff berth. I really like Novak and Tomasino, and I think Gino's going to have a nice farewell ride.
Mhm.
And you can't tell me this Sid's not going to play well unless he loses his leg in a car wreck.
I think Anthony Mantha's an upgrade too over what.
Yeah, Mantha. I think between the Wotherspoons and the double A guy, I think there's guys. The front of net will be cleared away. Jari can't be nearly as bad. I just think if they're around there, and he just moves, and he moves 5 guys, make sure we don't make the playoffs. I don't have any respect for that.
I don't think he'd be able to do that. Like, I don't think from a PR perspective, that would be really hard, because whenever they traded Jake and started the rebuild, like we knew it was going down. Like they weren't close. If this team's within 3 points, you'd have to think Sid's probably playing out of his mind again. Gino's probably having a good farewell tour, like you said, Joe. That would be like political suicide for him. Like,
well, and even more than that, if you think the fans would lose respect for him, how do you think Sid and Gino would feel about it? That might be the bigger issue. If there is a scenario where, okay, it's January 31st, that's the Olympic break, whatever, there's 25 games left, Penguins are a point out of a playoff spot. But that's where Dubas doesn't want to be. Seriously, that's a real problem for him. And that's why it's interesting that he hasn't traded any of the guys we've talked about, that he did bring in a Mantha, a guy who could make them better in the middle six, no question. He's setting himself up a little bit. Listen, Kyle has made it very clear, even though he doesn't use the word rebuild, that's what he's doing. Look at all of his actions, all the draft picks he's brought and everything else. And yet he still, brings in a Mantha, brings in a couple of veteran defensemen who can play. Hasn't traded Rust or Raquel when I know he could. Maybe he hasn't gotten the return offer that he wants, but I know he could. A lot of teams are going to want those guys. It's very dicey, because if he ends up in a situation where they do have a chance to be a wild card team, where they do exceed expectations, then he's got a real problem on his hands, because I don't think he feels like this rebuild is done yet. And yet he loses everybody if he doesn't try to help Sid make the playoffs if he has a chance.
Did you see, I do not believe it was Elliot Friedman, or else I would have been really scared. Did you see the Toronto offer for Rust that was out on the internet?
No.
It was massive. Like, I don't think he is going to, if that was correct reporting, I don't think he is going to trade Rust, because it was a haul and a half.
Well, I wonder if that's correct. I don't know. I have heard that teams have offered more for Rust than they have for Raquel, which is kind of an interesting thing. I do think Raquel's the more naturally talented player, the better pure goal scorer, but I do think Rust has certain intangibles about him that GMs apparently view as even more valuable. So I think GMs around the league love both of them. But Rust is the one that I've heard if Kyle's going to trade him, you better be paying top dollar for him. That's how highly he thinks of him. So I don't know if that, I didn't see that report. I don't know if it's true.
It was literally like 5 or 6 different picks. I'm just like, oh my God.
But that said, if I'm the Leafs, like, that's exactly the kind of guy I'd want. I mean, you think they couldn't use Brian Rust? I promise you.
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, that's always been my thing with the Leafs for the last 10 years. They always get guys that are old but never won. They never got a guy that has won.
Yeah, go get Joe Thornton or Patrick Marleau.
Or Thornton. I every time I'm like, I said this to everyone who listens to me in Toronto and all Toronto fans around the world. I'm like, you should have got Patrick Hornquist when you could have. Look how that turned Florida around. But that being said, that's what I think about. I think Raquel is like what I said about he went to the Kings, but then the other kid played pretty good for them. It's like, if you just want a scoring winger, Raquel's your guy. But you want a guy with 2 Stanley Cups that can penalty kill. It's going to score you 25, to score you clutch goals, can play third line, to get his nose dirty. A guy that's going to put a young team over the top. That's rust. He's
Oh,
going to be very valuable to me. I think he's going to be gone at the deadline. That's
Well,
what
You made your peace with it.
yes. When I saw, I think you kind of have to.
Yeah.
I heard it's before the deadline. It was in February.
Sorry, Josh. Unless Mario buys a team.
Well,
Yeah, that's true.
right. It was in February. I heard that Columbus really wanted Rust, and you can see why. If you're a young team that you think, okay, we're putting something together, we're on the rise here. Why wouldn't you want him? He'll show the way. And if you're a championship contender, but a team that just for whatever reason can't get over the top, right? A team like Dallas or a team like Toronto, why wouldn't you want him? My God, he's perfect. From Washington, even, man, all those young players bringing somebody like him, yeah, his value is never going to be higher than it is right now. And I don't know. I've never heard specifically the kind of package that Dubas would require to deal Rust. I've heard it's very large. And I also think, we can't ignore the fact that, Sid might not like it if they trade Raquel. Sid's really not going to like it if they trade Brian Rust. Like that's his preferred winger. That's his guy.
I think it's obvious the only team that doesn't want Rust is the U.S. Olympic team.
God, hoping that changes now.
Yeah, really. Maybe Sully's seeing the light. I don't know. Of course, he also made Austin Matthews his captain, for Christ's sake. So I don't know.
I thought the big blow this week was Mr. Kachuk is out 6 months.
Yeah.
He'll be back for the Olympics if he can.
He should be okay for the Olympics, but we knew he was probably going to miss some time. I didn't think it'd be this much time, though. That's a little concerning.
Also makes me wonder why they don't do it earlier in the summer. That always ends up happening. People try to wait it out, and you never hear like, oh, you know what? He waited it out and it worked out. He'll be ready in November.
You got to let him have a couple of cocktails, though. Not in the surgery gown.
That's true. That's true.
He
earned it.
He got married this summer too. I wonder if that was part of it.
Well, plus there's no, they're still loaded. That's the thing with Florida. They have so many guys on that team that their top 9 is still intact. Like they're still going to make the playoffs.
Oh yeah, and they know that. They know what it takes. They're in it for the long haul.
Arrested Matthew Kachuk helps too.
Yeah, no, of course it does. So no, I heard that news with the Kachuk. We knew we could miss some time. I didn't know it would be maybe until the first of the year. But that said, he should still be prepared for the Olympics. And I've said all along, I know he's not the captain in Florida. I know Barkov is, and he's clearly a fine captain. If I'm Mike Sullivan, I'm putting the C on Matthew Kachuk's sweater, and I'm not thinking twice about it. Austin Matthews has never won a damn thing in his life. He's never struck me as much of a leader. He always shrinks in the playoffs. What he has ever done to deserve being the captain of that team, other than the fact that he scored 60 goals one year, that's great. Matthew Kachuk, that's the guy that picked a fight with Canada just for fun last year when the puck dropped. Like that's a guy who's got 2 Stanley Cup rings, who elevates his game on the biggest stage, who just has more of a magnetic personality than Matthews as well. Like that's who I think should be the captain. I wouldn't even think twice about it.
Yeah, I would take him in a heartbeat. And plus, I mean, we're coming, Canada. We've talked about it on the show many times, but like you guys saw with the Hlinka Cup, the Hlinka Gretzky, whatever they call it now, beat Canada in the semifinals and beat Finland in the finals. We haven't got the golden goose yet. We haven't won the Olympic gold over Canada. The 4 nations, whatever. That was some weird tournament. I
heard that Russia is going to be allowed back into competition in the world in 2028. That Bettman and company are just going around whatever pansies are afraid of the Russians is going to let them back into play.
Really?
Which may be a year too late for Gino. I'm sure Ovi will still be playing, but I know if Gino come out of retirement to play. But
I don't get irritated by many things. When I know politics and hockey, whatever, can be a tough mix. The whole Russian thing drives me insane that they're not involved in the Olympics. It's really embarrassing, in my opinion. It's just soft more than anything. Like I don't like Putin either. Okay, it just invalidates the tournament, and everybody knows it. And and I certainly feel for the Malkins and the Ovechkins who may never have a chance to play in the Olympics again. Very unfair to them.
Yeah, I mean the Olympic gold for those guys is, on the same level as a Stanley Cup, and they're just not even giving the opportunity.
Might be more important on some level.
That's true. Yeah, yeah. It's like especially the history of Russia and it being a birthright there is just it's crazy. But
that's the key phrase, Corey. They're just not even given an opportunity.
Yeah,
it's one thing to lose, but at least let them play.
Plus, remember that fantastic shootout with TJ Oshie when the whole country learned who TJ Oshie was, like outside of us, hockey crazy people. You lose that, because who are they going to play? They're with Latvia. That means Latvia gets another prime game. It's just
and for all the people, oh my God, Russia's so terrible. They go cheer for the U.S. and Canada and Latvia when they play them. If you hate them so bad,
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. And I mean, listen, every tournament needs a good villain. There's never been Russia's one of the greatest villains in the history of time. Like they're just a great heel. They are, and the tournament's not the same without it.
Yeah. I mean, from Ivan Koloff to Ivan Drago.
Yeah, they just know how to be the bad guy.
A couple other things we wanted to talk about was Chad Ruhwedel retired. Good old number 2 announced himself with a goal in the outdoor game against Philly in Heinz Field, and a very crucial piece to those Stanley Cups. And we cannot forget Chad Ruhwedel. And Joe, you've been saying it for a while. Like as soon as we got rid of him, you kind of were like, I kind of wish we just had him back. Like we really could have used him.
He was on waivers last year. He was easily one of the 6 best defensemen on art. It would have been the Penguin last year. I don't even think there's a doubt about that.
He was so dependable. The consummate professional. My memories of him, like after even playoff games, like most guys are just, getting dressed and going home. You'd walk past where the Penguins do their interviews and he'd be like lifting weights for an hour after games. I think Chad Ruhwedel knew he wasn't really talented enough just to show up and play in the NHL. He had to will himself into an NHL player and work himself into it. And he did. And he never complained about anything. He could go a month without playing. You'd throw him into a playoff game. He would do his job. Just a consummate professional.
Absolutely. And somebody who was never overexposed. Like when he was overexposed, he didn't show it like a lot of guys do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he could do the job, man. He was just so dependable, so tough. I have nothing but good things to say about that guy. He sat through a lot of bus rides in his minor league career until he got the chance. And it's such of a cliche to say it, but you don't win championships without guys like him. You don't. You need people with no ego who just show up every day and go to work and who you can count on, that you can trust. That was Chad Ruhwedel. I mean, he certainly has a real special place in the heart of a lot of the guys on those teams. They knew he never got any attention. He was never going to get a whole lot of credit or a whole lot of publicity, but man, he was a good hockey player in his own way.
He's going to get a nice big, he's going to get a nice cheer at the 10-year reunion. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, he might every team needs that. Like, remember Randy Gillen? Randy Gillen, like, it just never never was like a huge player, but he had that huge goal against Washington.
Yeah.
The one where he volunteered himself off the bench.
It's one of my favorite stories. That's for those who don't know, I'll be very quick. 1991, Penguins lose to the Caps in game 1. They're losing 6-5 late in game 2. Delayed penalty. Scotty Bowman or Bob Johnson rather didn't say who should go on the ice. Usually it was Mario, but I think he was already on the ice. Gillen noticed there was a delayed penalty, and Barrasso came to the bench, or whoever, that might have been Peter Angelo that game. And Gillen just jumped off the bench. The 4th line center jumps off the bench, goes to the net, and scores. A great story in Penguin history. And yeah, I mean, you need the glue guys. And Chad Ruhwedel, man, I can't think of one goal he ever scored, or I can't even think of one play he ever made, really, that would get your attention. I just know he didn't screw up very often. You know, he held down the fort, and you need somebody like that. And I have a lot of respect for him.
No
How
bad
about-
pinches.
No,
no,
didn't even
no.
try because he was
What
smart.
about you guys remember? You remember Carter Rowney? Like
Oh,
just another
absolutely.
little piece that like
Yeah.
came in and like I think he scored a goal off his ass
Yeah.
in against Ottawa. Like I mean, I love guys like that. As soon as he came, I was like, that guy looks like he's going to win a Stanley Cup with us.
Yeah.
And he ended up making a decent buck in the NHL.
He did. Yeah.
Like, he got like a 4-year deal or something in Anaheim.
Good for Chad. I hope he enjoys retirement. He deserved it. He's like I said, just a true pro.
And then we got real quick. We can run through. You want to go through your 3 favorite players that were never Penguins, or you want to save that for another week before camp starts?
We can save it because we've done an hour, and then it's summer programming. Because we can just say, but the news was this week, and I'll tease it. I won't give you my third. Was they are going to finally retire Sergei Fedorov's number in Detroit. So
I didn't know they hadn't.
He's my favorite player that's never was a Penguin, and maybe my third favorite player that never was a Penguin. Milan Lucic is getting a PTO with the Bluesers. So number 2, you'll have to tune in next week for Corey's top 3 and Josh's top 3, because I know there's probably half the people there. When they get me talk some Steelers? Steelers.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Cam Hayward must have listened to our podcast and decided to end his holdout or hold in or whatever the hell it was. And then Derek Harmon getting hurt was a bummer. But did this happen to you guys? I kind of didn't notice that there was another preseason game. Like I was coming back from vacation, admittedly. So like when you come back, it's like you're just on a week of catch up. And all of a sudden it was like I got a notification like Steelers game starting in 5 minutes. I was like, what? Oh my God, that's tonight. And I don't know. The preseason just seems long. Like it's useless at this point. They've really, really done a good job of forcing their hand, and the players union is going to go to 18 games and they'll get rid of it.
Well, I knew it was because it was blacked out in Boston because I tried to TiVo it. Blacked out. But I think also, Corey, I don't know if you caught this is a news. This happened. I guess Brenston Buckner, the good lineman, he's hurt too. So we have issues on the D line.
Wait, who?
Buckner Benston.
You mean Keanu Benton?
Is that it?
I don't.
Okay. I'll show my ignorance. I thought, yeah, the guy that plays, where Cam does, he's hurt.
Are you talking about our first round pick?
No, I know Harmon. I know Harmon's
okay.
hurt. I thought his name's Benson Bruckner. Bruckner Benson.
Oh no, it's Keanu Benton.
Okay, I'm sorry, I got his name wrong.
No, yeah. It shows me. I'm sitting there. I went with you. You were like Brenton Buckner. Like, yeah, no, like
is that a different guy on a different team or
That's
something?
from the '90s. Good memory though.
Oh, it is from the '90s. That's me. I lived in the past.
Yeah, life was better then. But
he's hurt though, right? That's a big deal.
He might. I don't know how bad he is. I mean, it sounds like Harmon's going to miss a couple of games probably. But boy, I'll take that because, like, when they showed him going off on the cart in Charlotte, he looked like he had tears in his eyes, like the look on his face. I think we were all thinking 3 letters ACL. Like, I think everybody was thinking, oh shit, because from everything we've heard from our buddy Mark Cabale and others, like, he apparently is the real deal. He's really good and could make an immediate impact for the Steelers. And as talented as that defense is, they got gashed against the run the last month of the season. They need some big guys up front to do the job, and he's one of them. So sucks if he misses a couple of games, but that's okay. It's a long season. It's 17 games now. If he can be back even at the end of September, man, we will take that because it sure didn't look good when he was leaving the field the other night.
No. I was like, we've had so much bad luck with first round picks, and they're good players, but I know I'm crazy, but the more I look at the Steelers, the more I go, I don't know. They might do something. I just saw somebody, I forget who it was, a reputable person. I got to bookmark these things that said the Steelers, Ravens, and Bills were the 3 most likely teams to win the AFC this year. And I was like, and Chiefs were in like the next category of
that's
like,
insane for the Chiefs not to be. I'm sorry. I'm not.
Oh yeah.
I will. Did you see I don't know if you saw this, Joe. Jim Nance and Tony Romo did some interview the other day, and Nance said that currently the Steelers are scheduled to be in 6 of their 7 broadcasts to end the season. The Nance and Romo crew, and the Steelers have it now. That just goes to show, and the Steelers might be good. CBS gets excited, and the networks get excited, and you're going to have to get used to a lot of 4 o'clock games and a lot of night games because they would love to have them on. But so maybe they're high on the Steelers. I think they could be good. Do I think they're the Bills or Ravens or Chiefs? No. I would probably think they're on that next tier below, but they might be kind of an X factor with all the talent that they have on defense. And we'll see if Rodgers can kind of turn the clock back one year. And who's to say that he can't? If he does that, all bets are off, Joe.
Yeah, it's a little disappointing. I'm sorry, I was listening. I was just trying to look up. I don't know how to spell the Q, whatever Buckner. I can Google in 2 seconds and pay attention because I know he's banged up. I don't know how hurt he is. They said Loudermilk was in the starting rotation.
Oh boy,
that can't be good. But I don't know. As much as I want them to be good, obviously, I'm not a Nance Romo guy.
No.
I mean,
I like Jim Nance in general, but like he was better with as much as I hated Phil Simms. Like I liked him better. Romo was great. I think we might have talked about this, but when he came in and was like diagramming the play, I was like, I kind of enjoy this. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is cool. Like, oh, he's looking at this over here because he's got a too high safety. You're like, oh, great insight. And then they told him to tone it down. Now Romo's just kind of weird.
Well, I did not like Sims at all. No. I thought just for the fact that I don't like to blame everything on the referees, but they can make a bad call one time. Phil Sims in a decade. I mean, it's like
he always took their side.
He might as well have been in the Spatafor family or the Saratori family. How much he was defending the referees every game, but Romo, I did not like when he tells you what play's coming. It's like, can I just watch the game? It's like someone who tells you what the set list is going to be. Can I just listen to the concert? Like, I don't want to know what the play is going to be.
Right. Yeah, I actually didn't mind Romo. I don't mind Romo the way some people do. I appreciate his enthusiasm. My only issue with him now, the last couple of years, I feel like he just kind of like doesn't do any homework and just shows up and is just playing the character of Tony Romo. Like he just seems like he's not as prepared or something seems off. But I will say this, guys, when I get bored late at night, I've been going down the rabbit hole lately of watching like lots of games from the 90s. And even I like to watch some old 70s games before I was born. They're all on YouTube now. Boy, was the broadcasting terrible then. I mean, holy shit, it's a million times better now than it was then. You watch some of those old broadcasts with like Beasley Reese and stuff. Those were some really bad broadcasts. Like it's actually way better now. So I try not to come. It's kind of like NHL officiating. Does it still kind of suck? Yeah. But go watch some tapes from the 90s and see the stuff Mario had to deal with. It's not so bad now. I don't complain about it as much as I did just because of that.
Well, that was the worst because I lived through the best. I lived through the 70s. So we'd always have Kurt Gowdy or Pat Summer Brookshire. We always had the great announcers. And then in the mid 80s, the end of the Emperor Noel, all we saw was we played the Bengals and they were okay, but the Brownies after Sipe, we had to watch Glanville, and we would get the ninth best announcers because we stunk and Cleveland Pittsburgh is not going to exactly light up the ratings. We're not exactly getting Matt and Summerall, and just terrible.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than whenever you turn on a Steeler game and you're like, who the hell are these announcers? We suck. We suck.
It doesn't happen that often. I mean, it's usually an announcer, Ian Eagle, or who I think is pretty good actually.
Oh, love the Eagle.
I think he's terrific, actually.
That's when the Penguins are down, when they're like after the 3 stars of the night on the NHL Network. Like, we fall into that.
Oh, the Winnipeg game made it from. Jeez.
Yeah, like what? That's where Ottawa usually sits.
Right, yeah. Jets Sharks. Okay, wow.
Have you guys ever seen the video of? I love the guy Kevin Harlan. I think he's like I would love to hear him do a Super Bowl on TV. Have you ever seen the video of him announcing a March Madness game? It's like the video of him at the desk, and I forget, it was one like a 14 seed beating a 3 seed or whatever. And I mean, he's just losing his mind. Like it was so much fun. I love watching those guys. And I also Ian Eagle's son it sounds exactly like him. He's really good.
Yeah, he is.
He does the college football games on NBC on Peacock on Saturday night. I'd like to see him get in there. I don't know. Jim Nance is kind of, to me, like slowing down. Like, it's kind of like, go do the Masters, maybe take the NFL off. I don't know. But then you have Tom Brady with what's his name? That Kevin Burkhardt, like going Fox. I'm like,
I hate Fox's broadcasts in general. I do. I just think CBS in general, their broadcasts are a lot better than Fox personally. But I will say Kevin Harlan, I think he's great, Joe. I don't know how you feel about him, but I find him so entertaining. I'm in Canada right now with my kids. I'm up here a lot. And so I spend a lot of Sunday nights driving home from Canada during the football season. I always listen to Kevin Harlan on Westwood Radio on Sunday Night Football.
Sunday nights.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
So good. Like I don't get sleepy at all driving home. It's Kevin Harlan's going through my veins. Like, oh, this is great. He's getting excited about everything. He just brings some a comedic value. Like, he's really funny sometimes during games. Like, it just adds something to it. I think he's great.
Yeah, I know I'm getting old because I remember when Ian Eagle was the young guy. Now was kids' brother. You know, I think Tirico does a great job, but I still miss Al Michaels on Sunday nights. To me, it's a big game when it's Al Michaels.
I agree.
I just go Al Michaels.
Some people give the Amazon broadcast shit. I still like Al Michaels. I'll listen to Al Michaels call anything.
I will. Here's where Al Michaels has slipped, because he's great, and like I like him in his whole command of the broadcast is great, but big moments, the emotion kind of like left in the last like 20 years, because you think about how many big moments that guy's lived through, and then not only that, then it just as a fan, an LA Kings fan, happens to be there and watch them win 2 Stanley Cups and 1 in overtime at home. You know what I mean? Like, it's like he went from that to like his favorite team doing that to the Miracle on Ice and everything in between. But like, I remember if you watch the rebroadcast of Super Bowl 40, it's like Willie Parker is breaking the record for longest touchdown run in Super Bowl history. And he's like, they call him Fast Willie Parker. You know, it was just like, I was like, a little more, just a little bit, like a little more emotion, please. But no, I mean, his command of a broadcast was great. And he always let you know whether or not your bet hit.
Oh, that's the best part about Al. A very important extra point to some of you watching right now. Like, yeah, me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He was Musburger. Musburger always dabbled in the dark arts as well.
Yeah, right.
I will say this though, about the Kevin Burkhardt thing. To me, he's fine. But the way he used to have that tight end for North Carolina as a partner, and how he became everybody's martyr. Like, how could Tom Brady take his job? Because he's Tom Brady. You know, it's like if they're going to show, Kelsey's girlfriend 30 times, people get upset. You don't think they're going to have Tom Brady on the broadcast?
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think Brady was even that good really in his first year. He was okay. But I did think people were getting a little too enthusiastic about Greg Olsen. He's fine. He's better than most. But this isn't like the greatest color commentator who ever lived. Like I agree, people were getting a little too worked up. But how could they do this to Greg Olsen? It's okay. Like it'll be fine. It's just Greg Olsen. Yes, I'm telling you, I don't like watching games on Fox. I don't like their camera angles. I don't like their production. I always call it like overproduction. They got to do their cute little camera angles when you can't. I just want to see the field. I don't want like close-ups or like weird camera angles to just show the game. CBS does that really well.
And Fox in general has like almost like not a sepia tone, but like a transparent, like gray tone that they put over everything. Do you get that vibe?
Yes.
Because like I remember seeing it whenever Doc Emmerich was doing the NHL on Fox. You know, and the Penguins were always on those Saturday games with Doc Emmerich in the 90s. And I was like, why does this game look gray compared to like when ESPN does it? You know, it's brighter on ESPN.
And especially the Nance Romo game. They have like when you take a picture on your iPhone, it's in portrait mode. They have that. It's like the portrait mode, the one camera they use. Like it's just like, oh my God, it's beautiful. Like it just everything about the CBS presentation, I think is, and I think their broadcasters are better too, top to bottom. They have some. If you have like Nance and Kevin Harlan and Ian Eagle, like that's a pretty good top 3. Like I don't whether you like Nance or not, he's certainly an all-timer. I mean, like that's a Fox just can't match that as far as I'm concerned.
No, I do like Terry, and I guess not Jimmy anymore. And I like Strahan on a personal level, and Howie. Like I do like the pregame show much better
Much better. I agree.
on Fox.
And Howie Long's great. I'm and even Bradshaw's entertaining for what he is, right? No, I agree. I think their halftime and pregame stuff's better on Fox, but just the actual game broadcast itself, I just think CBS does it better.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll be on at 4:00 with Nance.
Yeah. I just saw somebody
1:00 with Beasley Reese.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I saw a Twitter, just all you Pittsburgh fans were getting ready for it. They said, "Boy, is it going to hit like crack when the Steelers accept the opening kick and go 3-and-out with the worst 3-play calls you've ever had in your life?" Because it's coming. The Steelers are going to do it, and all of a sudden we're like, "What the hell?" And we're screaming for it now. But
well, let's talk seriously though for a second about what's gone down. I think everyone's biggest fear was that Broderick Jones and the other guy were going to suck, and Aaron Rodgers would last like 3 plays.
Yeah.
Broderick Jones and the line played pretty good in the preseason. I know it's the preseason. Half those guys are going to be working at Trader Joe's, but they didn't get caved in like everyone was worried about.
He looked fine. I watched him a lot in the last 2 games. And Troy Faltano on the other side looks great. Like he might really be something special. I know they feel that way about him. And no, I thought the line, I don't know if they're going to run the ball that great to start the season. That didn't seem to be coming around as much, but the pass protection was really good.
Yeah.
And, we'll see. Listen, Rodgers is kind of a mystery. Like we've seen him in Latrobe. I was there once. He certainly can still make all the throws. That was clear. We don't know how he's going to play. He has a history of not always playing great in week 1 as well. And he didn't play at all in the preseason. So that's probably a little concerning. But I have a feeling the Steelers are going to throw a lot more than people think this year. Whenever you're the national analyst, it's always, well, it's the Steelers. They're going to run a lot. Like, are they? Like,
I think they have to.
I don't know. I mean, you just brought in Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf. I don't think you're going to run the ball. I understand they're not going to be the run and shoot or anything. But I have a feeling you've got 2 pass catching tight ends. You've got a Hall of Fame quarterback. Like, I don't think this is going to be the same offense or handoff, incomplete pass and punt. I think they might surprise people in that regard.
I do think though that was the most disconcerting thing about this. And I know I said it last week about how we got rid of Naj. I know Naj wasn't Earl Campbell, but what I've seen of this kid, he's not Earl Campbell either. I'm not trying to knock him in the preseason, but I was expecting to have a little preseason pop against the guys working at Trader Joe's.
He got tackled by a cornerback on the outside. You're like, you can't just break that. Like just one. It's not the hardest one.
I thought he looked okay, but just okay. You want to see more than that, no question. Warren barely played. And I like Jalen Warren.
He's in regular season form.
I mean, I like Warren. He's fine. But to me, he's ultimately
Is he a bell cow?
He's a really good complimentary back, right? Which is all the reason why I think they're going to throw more than people think. I just
no.
I could be
what
wrong.
do they do with the wide receiver too? I mean, I know Roman Wilson has the capability to get there, but none of us have seen it yet. I mean, I'm wearing my Michigan hat, so of course I see that. But I don't know. Everybody goes, "Oh, we got DK Metcalf," and I'm like, "Yeah, like we had Hines Ward and we drafted Plexico Burress, like for a reason. Like, you need 2 guys."
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm still curious to see if they bring in somebody before the season. I know our former featured guest, Mark Cabali, has speculated a lot recently. Like, don't be shocked if they trade for someone or bring someone in, because they like Roman Wilson, but he's more of an inside slot guy.
Mm-hmm.
They love Metcalf, but there's still no one else. Calvin Austin's okay. He certainly he can fly, but he's also about 5'2". I don't think he's a legitimate number 2 receiver. So I'm curious to see. They have the salary cap space to make some moves. They got the draft capital to do it. I'm very interested to see if they bring in somebody, because it could be a pretty good offense. But man, if you only have one receiver, that's a real problem.
I will say this though: if Arthur Smith really is a genius, and they have Metcalf, who's incredible. He's a great wide receiver, and all the tight ends all have their, their a lot of good attributes. Rodgers can throw the ball around, man. Like if the guy really can draw up some good plays, they're going to move the ball because they have 3 legitimately good pass catching tight ends and one of the 5 or 6 best receivers in football. So you have a Hall of Fame quarterback. If he's standing upright, you should be able to get 10 yards on 3 tries.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, one of the commenters said, "Where's Rodgers is going to audible out of a lot of run plays." Like that might help. That might happen too.
Okay.
I
I
hope so.
want him to call the show. I do. I think it's better that way when a guy of his caliber just is kind of doing what he wants to do. I'm okay with that.
And as much as Tomlin can be stubborn and bullheaded, Tomlin is not against Ben or someone of credentials changing plays and making winning plays.
That's right. And listen, by all accounts, Rodgers has been a dream for everyone to deal with. He's said all the right things, and if he turns out being a pain in the ass, it's 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
You can live with it for 1 year because let me tell you something. He's still better than Mason Rudolph or anyone else they're going to throw out there. We know that. And the beauty of Rodgers, historically speaking, he throws interceptions less often than about any quarterback in history. Like that's a really big deal if the Steelers defense is as good as we think it could be. That's a pretty good combination. If you have a defense like that and you don't turn the ball over, that in and of itself should give the Steelers a real chance most weeks. So I'm excited to see Rodgers play. I know he's old, but it's Aaron Rodgers, for God's sake. I think if nothing less, there's a feeling of excitement and unpredictability with these Steelers that maybe we haven't seen in a while.
Well, since Ben played, you never thought we could get to 24 points.
Right.
You thought you'd have to run back a punt, DJ tackle someone and they pick up the ball. And he's like 21 points from the defense and special teams. And then, what's his name, kicking a 70-yard field goal. Now I think we can score 24 points, and I think our defense can hold people to 24 points.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm not going to say 12-5, but I think 10-7's in there.
Oh, that's
very doable.
Be a playoff team, sure they can, and I suspect they will be. But I'm a little more excited about this Steelers season than the last few years, and it still goes back to Rodgers. I understand he's not what he was, but I think he was better last season than he got credit for. And he's 2 years removed from that Achilles injury. I know he's old. This is an all-time great. If he can somehow find the fountain of youth a little bit and hit the level that he was at 3 years ago, well, why not?
Yeah. And hey, okay, so maybe the Steelers aren't what they were 10 years ago as a franchise. They're still not the freaking Jets.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, Rodgers lasted there. He'll be able to fit in Pittsburgh.
That's right. And by all accounts, he is.
And he owes me a 7th Super Bowl. That's what I always say about him. He owes me a 7th Super Bowl. So maybe he just took it away just to give it back later. So, well, that'll do it for us this week on the Two for Talking podcast. We thank you guys, as always, for listening. Keep your comments coming. We love the live comments because it gives us some good feedback and lets us know things that we're struggling with. Because it's right when we figured out Keanu Benton is whenever the comments started coming up. So we see you guys. We appreciate you as always. And we'll talk to you next week.
Happy birthday, Bill.
Happy birthday, Bill.